Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Yellow. I am Scientist Alex.
And I am the successor to Giovanni. I am Drak, leader of Team Rocket. Part deux.
Well, in the last episode we did some more stuff, and in this episode we're going to do some more stuff, like get Eevee. Not that I'm going to use Eevee, but I might as well get it.
You don't like Eevee?
It's a fine Pokemon, I just don't have any use for it on my team at this time.
The problem with Eevee is that I think a lot of people look at it as it's a template Pokemon. There's really no reason to level it normally. You really just kind of sit there and go, okay, which Eevee do I want? Do I want... I don't actually know what the Gen 5 ones. Leafeon and Glaceon?
Sylveon, I think.
So it's really just you get to that point where they become other evolutions.
Yes. Unless you're my friend Marta, then she loves Eevee for just who it is.
She likes Eevee. She likes Eevee for Eevee! Not because he sings like Pavarotti. Oh, wow. I don't even know why I know the lyrics to that song. What's going on?
What are you talking about?
Oh, just... My brother used to sing that to me when I hit high school. Just because at that point I'd actually entered the dating scene.
I see.
So it was just like, but she likes you for you! Like, that's really a bad song, dude. So every time I'd get off the phone with, you know, either your sister or whomever, my brother would just yeek right in the door. She likes me for me! And just start singing it. I'm like, you are a dork.
Yep.
To which he'd go, uh-huh.
Oh, I blew it all in the slots. I knew I should have cashed in my coins for prizes. Unfortunately, playing the slots is the only way to complete your Pokedex without cheating. Because you gotta get a Porygon from the slots.
Oh, that's right. You actually, that's the only way, I think, in all Gen 1, you can get Porygon, right?
Yes.
And then Porygon 2 has kind of the same restriction in Gen 2, doesn't he?
I think so. I can't
Because he's not an evolution, I don't think.
I can't remember how you get Porygon 2.
I found that funny. They did Porygon 2, and then, you know, as things got better as far as graphics were concerned, why did we never get...
This gym is great! It's full of women! Oh, I was trying to do Danny
Race
DeVito.
Grandpa, everybody! Or, no, I guess the best comparison for Shadow Blazer here would be, Shigure Soma.
Uh-huh.
High school girls, all for me, high school girls.
Bellsprout.
Bellsprout.
And I do Razor Wind because I think it's so amazing that I remembered it was a normal type. And of course, it misses! Yes, I did.
They changed that though, didn't they? Because
No,
I could have sworn in Gen 3 or something that it was a flying attack.
No, it's still normal.
That is stupid.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put anything with wind in it,
Or flight, or, yeah, anything that relates to flying.
yeah,
it
like
should be
wing attack. I mean, that makes sense. Or gust.
Yes. Gust was fixed in all fairness.
Yes, gust was. But there are actually some abilities that you would expect to have been fixed by now into their proper types.
Yes. But Razor Wind remains a normal type move for some weird reason.
And I'm going to kind of cover my butt here. I get that there are attacks that have to be generalized. Pound, tackle, it all makes sense why those things can't be like fighting moves.
Yes.
But at the same time, there are things like Gust or even like Sand Attack. You would consider that a flying move because that's involving wind.
Sand Attack, I think, makes sense as a ground type.
But then again, I'm also the guy who thinks that the flying type should just buckle down and call that the air type. Which doesn't make sense, I get, but...
It probably could have been called Bird type, because the Bird type still exists in the ROM. In fact, if you catch a missing note, its type is Bird.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, how would that work with, say, Butterfree or Beedrill?
They'd still be bug types.
Bug and Bird?
Possibly. Or
There's some weird Pokemon hybrid?
Maybe. But, I mean, we're talking early prototypes here.
Yeah.
And
well, that's, you know, that Bird type just sounds to me like programming language. They hadn't figured out what they wanted to call it yet, and so they put in a placeholder name.
That's possible. And, of course,
for a missing no, that makes sense. If it's a glitch, and it's technically not even supposed to exist in the game, you have to rig it, then it would go back to base code, or run back to mama, so to speak, to designate itself.
yes.
Oh no, Alex, you're facing Nuptup! Run away! Run away! He's the destroyer of worlds!
It's okay, I take it out pretty quickly.
Oh, okay.
Even though it caught me in a stun and poison cycle. Bell Sprout.
I'm kind of tempted to, because Pro Jared actually put out t-shirts for Nuptup Destroyer of Worlds. I'm tempted to get one. Because it's got like this whole Shang Tsung pose of, your soul is mine. And so you actually kind of went the right way to go, because you got Firo, who starts off with Peck, and Peck is a flying attack.
Yes.
Whereas I went with Pidgey, and Gust should be a flying attack in this game, but it isn't.
Of course.
Uh-oh, now we're going to the Pedo Bear Pokemon. I'm trying to figure out who is the true Pedo Bear Pokemon here, Drowsy or Hypno?
Probably Hypno.
Probably Hypno. Because Drowsy looks kind of leery, but he's nowhere near as creepy as Hypno. I really want to know what crack they were smoking when they actually came up with Hypno. I get that they wanted a hypnosis-based Pokemon, but just the way he looks, I mean, seriously, were they high? Were they lazy? Were they bored? I don't get it. He's creepy. This is why I don't ever go with Hypno or Drowsy. And somebody was actually telling me in Gen 5 or Gen 4 he gets an evolution. So there's a higher Hypno now.
I haven't heard that. Who was this
makeup! Well, congratulations, Alex. You beat the Avon lady.
Yes.
Do you feel proud of yourself?
I feel very proud of myself.
You beat up a girl.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? In this gym...
Aren't you the peeping Tom?
Is that a reference in the episode?
No.
I was trying to figure that out when I ran through Celadon. I'm like, was there actually a point in the episode where Ash was a peeping Tom or something?
No. He posed as a girl to get into the gym, but they only hated him because he didn't like perfume. How shallow could you be?
Could it have been Brock?
Not even
No,
Brock.
Brock wasn't that borderline creepy yet.
Brock was still accepted. I mean, you remember Ash went there and Brock was already there.
Yeah, Brock was like the first one to chastise him for the perfume statement, I think.
Yes, because
before Misty outright killed him. Yeah. That was such a weird episode. It's like we had no other choice. We had to make Ash into a chauvinist. Okay, how do we do that? We're gonna find something girly, and since he's 10 years old, he's gonna mock it.
Yes.
And so, in a lot of cases, it doesn't even feel like a legit episode where Ash learned anything. He just learned, okay, never mention perfume around girls. Just never do it. And I'd forgotten the whole cross-dressing part. Wow. He was cross-dressing before James. That's sad. Because, like, yeah, James didn't legitimately cross-dress until Saffron? Maybe?
I don't remember.
Sometime past Saffron. It was, like, late into the series. Or late into the season at that point. Uh-oh, you've been spotted.
Look at my grass Pokemon.
And what's really sad is the design. I can't even believe I'm mentioning this, but it looks like Flo from Progressive commercials.
Oh, God.
Okay, you can hit me now, Alex. Why did I mention Progressive on this LP?
I don't know. We're not even playing Sonic.
Those commercials bother me. No, that bothered me. That Sonic ended up on that. I'm like, that just shows how far that franchise has fallen, at least as far as the gaming world is concerned, when it's coming up on Progressive. Wreck-It Ralph, that's acceptable. Not Progressive. At that point, I needed an Allstate commercial with the dude with the amazingly deep voice just to rinse my palate out. That was so bad.
Drowsy. Have you heard the creepypasta story, Hypno's Lullaby?
Do I want to hear about Hypno's Lullaby?
Probably not, but again, it kind of emphasizes the point that Hypno's a pedophile.
Hypno, the pedo bear of Pokemon.
People have made songs out of it to the Lavender Towns song.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yes.
I may have to see this.
Just go on YouTube, look up Hypno's Lullaby.
I'm scared, Alex. I'm very scared. I just don't want to. I just don't want to think about, that you could actually state one of these Pokemon is kind of pedo bear material.
Hell, there was a whole episode about Hypno taking children away.
Was he taking children away?
Okay, maybe he wasn't really taking children, but I remember they were all under hypnosis and all the children went missing because of it.
See, I remember an episode where Hypno had a problem where all he could do was just hypnotize, and they had to bring in a Drowsy to do Dream Eater to wake everybody up.
Yeah, that was it.
But I couldn't remember if he was luring children away.
I don't think he wasn't necessarily luring, I think, on purpose, right? But his hypnosis was like making all the children think they were Pokemon.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And Misty thought she was a seal.
Misty thought she was a seal, and then Ash thought was Ash affected?
I cannot remember now.
I think Brock was affected. But I'm trying to remember. Maybe Ash got affected last second before Drowsy hit Dream Eater. But I remember that now, yeah. Weird episode.
There was so much weird with the first season.
There was. And a lot of it is just anime trophy goodness, but some of it is just, it makes you sit back and go, huh? How did you jump from point A to point B? Like, the one that I actually like bringing up is the Legend of Dratini.
Right.
Because, not because of the gun reference, but because the farmer, or the dude who has said gun, has a dog. Not a Growlithe.
A real dog.
A real dog. So at that point, I'm like, that has officially broken the fourth wall of this series, because you would expect, in the case you brought up, a Growlithe at this point, because it was season 1, or maybe you could have hinted at season 2, because I heard that they had, what was Houndoom's pre-ev?
Houndour.
Houndour. They had at least that concept down, they just hadn't typed it. And so you could have done that.
Right.
But this was an actual legit dog.
It's not exactly... I think that might be the first time. No. The SSN showed real fish.
Oh, that's right, it did!
Yes. Or that's actually Pokemon.
Because, like, even in the Pokemon the Movie 2000, you didn't have fish in the sea, which is really, really odd. Except they had to be, like, Pokemon fish, so there wasn't much.
Yes.
That they could actually show. Because I'm trying to think, there was, like, a huge blow-up of sea-based Pokemon, I think in Gen 3. And then you could fill the ocean with nothing but.
Yeah, that makes sense for Gen 3, because Gen 3 is very island, tropical-based.
Yes. So you could do that, and it would make perfect sense, but Gen 2 didn't really provide a whole lot of new ones. If there were any Water-type Pokemon, I think only one was pretty much deep sea, and that was probably Lantern. Because he was based on really deep-sea fish.
Right.
But most of it was, like, freshwater stuff. So
yeah.
Totodile could be considered like a river kind of Pokemon.
Right.
And if I'm getting this wrong, Pokemaniacs, I'm sorry. But I'm really just kind of taking my own logic to it.
Logic in Pokemon? What's that?
The miniskirt wants to fight.
Yeah, she does. The last wants to fight.
I brought that up to your sister, by the way, and she does not believe you.
She doesn't believe me. I'll show her. I'll show them all.
Because I told her, that we were considering whether or not to do Pokemon Green, and she's like, okay, well, you guys do it, and then I'll believe you.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Okay,
we'll have to figure that out.
Your wife says so, now you must do it.
We might have to. Maybe we'll have to, since it's going to be so silly, maybe we'll have to do it as like an April Fool's thing. And just totally ham it up.
We're gonna
be able to pull out our degrees of William Shatner-itude and be able to just ham it up.
There's no other way to do it because, like I said, the translation is terrible. It's a fan translation.
And that's really sad too, because I've played a bunch of games that got fan translations. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. There were a lot of games that didn't come here that received fan translations that were meh, but they weren't horrible. In fact, in one case, the fan translation was accepted by Square Enix, and they made maybe a few tidbits changes here and there, but that's what we stuck with.
What? Square Enix actually accepted something fan-related?
I know, right? I think it was just because they didn't want to do the work.
God, all this time I thought Square Enix was so... no, we can't possibly have a fan do something for us.
No, that would be all Japanese companies, because Capcom's guilty of it too. Because, you know, heaven forbid that a fan made Mega Man versus Street Fighter. No, Capcom stepped in at that point. You have to get our sponsorship before you can do that.
Or again, going back to Square with the Chrono Trigger Resurrection project.
Oh yeah, they threw that down real hard. But I think at that point they were still... Weren't they still considering doing Chrono Break at that point?
Maybe, I have no clue.
Chrono Break is like one of those projects that just entered development hell from the get-go. Because everybody's like, okay, well, nobody really liked Cross, so what are you going to do this time? And really all the Chrono Trigger fans could offer was, don't do other dimensions. Go back to time travel.
Right.
Okay, well, Lavos can't just invade again. Yes, he can. You could say Lavos was the little brother. Now we have to deal with Dumos.
Or whatever they did with the DS version. Yeah, the Time Devourer.
Well, really, what they could have done was... I'm trying to think, because the story of Cross was based on a plot that could have gone through in Chrono Trigger. Mm-hmm. They could have just done time travel again and done the Reptites again.
Yes.
Yeah, spoiler alert, guys. The Reptites were the villain in Chrono Cross.
Unless you do a certain ending, then they become the rulers of Earth in a Planet of the Apes style ending.
Yeah. That's in Chrono Trigger, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the...
Where Azala happens. And at that point, they even actually said there was an ending of the endings of Chrono Trigger. There is actually an ending that makes Chrono Cross completely moot.
Really?
Yes.
Which one, do you know?
I don't know. I want to find out, but it's a Reptite-based ending.
Oh, that's probably the one I just mentioned.
Could be.
Where they kind of were...
All I know is that people discovered that, and Square Enix acted well, Square at the time.
Yes.
Acted really fast, and that ending was officially retconned. It's the only one that ever got a retcon.
Wow. Well, I always just figured there were only what-if endings anyway. I always figured there was the canon ending of Beyond Time.
You don't need to retcon a what-if ending.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to retcon that.
Yeah. I always just took it as the Beyond Time ending, which is when you go back and resurrect Chrono and you fight Lavos through the Black Omen. I always took that as the essential canon ending, and the others were just the what-ifs.
Yeah. And Cross... And here's the thing, too, guys. Like, Cross can't even... in my opinion, cannot really be connected to Trigger. Because the only connection you have is ghosts of Luca, Chrono, and Marley, which you can't even confirm they are Chrono, Luca, and Marley.
Right.
They're just... How did the game describe it? They're like echoes of fate.
Or something like that.
Yeah, so they're not even named Chrono, Luca, and Marley. They are just there.
Yeah.
And so at that point, can you even call Chrono Cross a sequel to Chrono Trigger?
It really is more like a spin-off.
It really is. It is its own game in the Chrono franchise. I think what they were trying to do was... There's another franchise with Square Enix that isn't really connected in any way form either, and that's the Mana franchise. I think they were trying to create another Mana franchise. The thing is, though, Mana... It makes sense why they're not connected. Most of them are you create your own world.
Yes.
Kind of thing. Chrono Trigger doesn't work that way. But
So,
I've officially decided also that any RPG storyline that involves time travel is a little squeaky. Because you can't... There's no such thing as continuity there.
Right. Oh, so this is Erica, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to Erica! We had a genuine Drak and Shadow moment, man.
Sorry.
Right back to Shadows of the Empire again.
Dear God. Sorry, we kind of got off on a Chrono franchise tangent, but yeah, this is Erica. You'll notice I was in Constrict and Bind for a few turns. I didn't speed it up because this is a gym battle after all, so I do not speed up my...
This is about as plot-centric as you get.
Yes.
The trainers are iffy, especially the ones on the routes, and so are the gym ones, but the gym leaders have to happen.
Yeah. You'll notice I'm a little underpowered for Erica. I didn't realize she was actually going to be quite this strong, considering the other trainers were pretty much up to my snuff, but if you find yourself still underleveled for Erica, you can go do Pokemon Tower first.
Yeah. Heck, go do it. Just, for the heck of, if you want to go complete your Pokedex, go get Ghastly. It's pretty much, it's the only place you can get Ghastly.
You can get Haunter, too.
Yeah, and Haunter is catchable.
Yes.
And then Hubble is also available.
Yes.
Because you have to catch the Cubone because you had to kill his mom.
Yes.
I always found that an awkward moment. You catch a Cubone in there and you love the Cubone, and then you have to go kill the Marowak, and they have that little line of text, the ghost of Cubone's mother has been saved. You're like, oh, my Cubone! I killed his mom!
Well, technically, you just put the spirit at rest. Or you could have just given it a dolly in Gen 1.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about that.
They should totally keep that. Sort of a Pokemon morality system. Do you fight it, or do you just give it a doll?
No morality system. Okay, adding a morality system in a game makes it really complicated. Now, Alex doesn't really have to vouch for this, because he hasn't, at least in my knowledge, you haven't played a whole lot of morality-based games.
No.
But I played stuff like Mass Effect, and holy crap, the ramifications of your choices become such a frustration. I don't want to do that in Pokemon. I don't want to intentionally make my Pokemon evil if I don't have to.
Good point, good point.
Yes. It's all well and good to do that in a Pokemon deck. Or like the trading card game where they did the Team Rocket pack.
Uh-huh.
That's fine. Don't do it anywhere else.
Or maybe like an offshoot like Coliseum.
Yeah. See, that makes sense.
Or
Because it's a card game. The only difference is that there isn't an offshoot series where we can get to talk about everybody's life stories. There should have been a trading card game spin-off. I never understood why there wasn't.
For Pokemon?
Yeah.
There was actually. There's 2.
Really?
Yeah. One did actually come over here, Pokemon trading card game on the Game Boy. It did actually come over here, but the other never did come stateside.
Oh, so there was not actually like a TV series.
Well, not a TV series.
I wonder how that actually would have compared or competed with a series like Yu-Gi-Oh.
If it came before Yu-Gi-Oh, then
It probably would have ruled the market.
yeah. But I think it's good. I don't think we have enough card Beyblade Yu-Gi-Oh hybrids as it is.
We do. All right.
That's the end of the episode.
Okay, so we will be back next week, and we're going to be finishing up Celadon City, I guess.
Yes.
So in the meantime, I am Drak.
And I'm Rocket Grunt Alex.
And we'll see you next time in the card graveyard.